waste based in Faridabad. So I'm sorry, I got disconnected because of some issues. Okay, now am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I will just turn off my video because I think there is some internet issue. Because of that, I just got log out. So just I was saying, like, I'm working in this field since past 12 years. So I wanted to convey my thoughts and my views regarding carbon footprint and carbon credits, okay? Because this is a very new concept in market which the companies and all the corporates and recyclers are facing these days. They are just listening the word carbon footprint, okay? We know carbon footprint, okay, but the thing is the carbon footprint have the new thing which is known as the carbon credits, and everything is affecting climate these days, okay. So I'll start my presentation, and then if you guys have any doubts, then you can just raise your hand or put your queries in chat box. We'll take after the presentation. Thank you so much. uh can you, like, host, can you make me host so that I can share my screen?
I made you the co-host
Yeah,
and I
thank you
allowed
so
you as well
much.
as to share screen.
Yeah, now I can share. Okay, my screen is visible.
Yes.
Yeah, fine. So, like, let's talk about sustainability. Okay, I know everyone knows about sustainability these days because it's a fashion trend. Okay, it's like a fashion for all the corporates, all the companies, even for the government. Also, it's a fashionable word known as sustainability. Like, everyone has to work towards sustainability. It can be any sort of sustainability. For example, if we talk about pollution, so Central Pollution Control Board is working towards sustainability to decrease electronic waste, to decrease hazardous waste, or managing those types of waste. That is also a part of a sustainability. Okay, so just a very brief overview of sustainability. It's like we have to use things in a proper manner so that our coming generation can use or cherish those things. For example, clean air, clean soil, and clean water. Okay, fossil fuels, whatever the thing which are not renewable. Okay, not renewable means it's like, if we pollute soil, okay, so it will be very difficult for us to clean that land again and then make it use further. And in the same thing, non renewable, if I'll say, it's a fossil fuels what we use, like coal, diesel, all these things we are using at a very fast pace, okay. As the population is increasing, consumption of these things are also increasing. So everyone talks about sustainability, but sustainability itself is a huge, it's a ocean where we only know a few drops about it. Okay, so on this slide, if you will see, I have mentioned few words here which are known as environment, economic, and social. So these three words make a sustainable development. So I'll just move towards my next slide. So this is the content which we will be discussing today. The first will be SDG, four pillar of sustainability, carbon footprints, carbon credits, categories of carbon credits, climate change, and how recyclers are reducing carbon production. So everyone knows about sustainable development goals, obviously, because United Nations has given these goals to all the nation. Okay, so in the world there are around 195 nations, and everyone has agreed to participate and work towards sustainable development goals, and which is the agenda of upcoming 2030. And why I am emphasizing in, because United Nations headquarters in New York, okay, that is the United States of America. So just remember this thing, because when my slides will go on, then this line will be very important, because there is a one hilarious thing which I would like to discuss with you guys. So there are 17 goals which United Nations has given to us, and basically they are emphasizing on developing or poor nation, means third world and second world countries they are like focusing on. For example, India, China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, these are African countries, okay. So these all countries they have to follow the proper protocol to working towards the sustainable development goals. And again, to be precise, there are 17 goals. Okay. So now, as I was talking about sustainability, okay, so everyone talks about sustainability, okay, but I told you it's a ocean, and we only know a few drops what sustainability is. So my first point where I would like to discuss here, it's about pillars of sustainability, okay. We talk about these words, but every definition, every word has to stand on few pillars, or they have to have some specific definition to define that word. So sustainability is defined by the human, social, economic, and environmental activities here. So these are the four pillars of sustainability, because every pillar have very important role in working towards one step towards sustainability. So the very important part is human sustainability. Let's see what the human sustainability can be anything where the human activities are involved, okay. It can be a skill development, it can be a companies or organization promoting a community, promoting a society. It can be anything, it's a vast area, because everything is coming from human itself, okay. So we are the pivotal part of this world, this earth. So this is the very strong pillar where the people has to talk and thought about sustainability. Next, if we talk about, it's a social sustainability. Social sustainability usually consists of like what we are doing for the society. Okay, it's like a framework, like how we are helping society. For example, if an NGO is working towards a growing plant, growing trees, okay, so these and humans are working helping that NGO. That means like it's a human sustainability which is interlinked with the social sustainability there. Next, it's come the economic sustainability. It's a very important part, because most of the companies and organization depends on this economic sustainability. For example, if we talk about recyclers, okay, there are huge number of recyclers these days: plastic recyclers, wet waste recyclers, dry waste recyclers, sanitary pad recycler, e-waste recyclers. There are humongous amount of recyclers these days. So their economic sustainability depends on the investment capital, okay, what they are making towards their company, okay. So that is the aim where the economic sustainability falls here, where it's the natural capital and social capital, both are involved here. After that, it comes the environment sustainability. So if we comprise of human, social, and economic, we make the last pillar, which is known as the environment sustainability. Here everything is about the improve human welfare, and how we can improve human welfare when we will start investing in the natural capital. And now the natural capital consists of three things: land, air, and water. But nowadays, as consumptions are increasing, okay, demands are increasing, so the supply also has to increase. Now the another word, the raw materials, minerals, all this has been added to the environment sustainability, that is the natural capital, which is a very important part for a human life. So these were the four pillars of sustainability. Okay, so now let's talk about the next very interesting slides. Here I have given you some data where we will be discussing about the United Nations, which where the headquarter is in New York itself. So if you will see image, I'll just zoom in little bit. Yeah. So now the topic is about carbon footprint. Okay, I will just give you the overview. Carbon footprint in a very layman language is the emission of carbon dioxide with all the activities. Okay, means like for example it can be like us human being or individual producing carbon dioxide, or it can be an organization or a society or any company is emitting carbon dioxide. And there are several ways where we emit carbon dioxide. For example, if we talk about just an individual, we breathe. Okay, so when we are breathing, we are inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. Okay, so that is our carbon dioxide production part 1. Next is we are eating food. Okay, we are cooking it, we are using LPG, okay, we are using kerosene, whatever we are using, so that is also we are producing carbon dioxide. Thirdly, we are traveling, we are going to our offices or we are traveling somewhere. Okay, so we are traveling, there also we are using, if we are using our own conveyance, we are using diesel or petrol there. Okay, so combustion is happening, so that is the another part, we are producing carbon dioxide. And most importantly, where we are staying, we use electricity. Okay, so electricity in India, it's coming from thermal power plant. Okay, that is the coal they are using. So that is also our carbon footprint, that how much carbon dioxide we are emitting as an individual basis. Now the same thing happens to the companies, organization, and then if you will include everything, it will be a country carbon footprint. Okay, every country, how much carbon dioxide they are producing it. Okay, so the hilarious thing which I wanted to tell you here, if we will talk about a world map here, which you can see on your screen left hand side. So here, if you will see, they have given the lowest line. You can see the colors which are portraying about the how much like carbon dioxide they are producing in billion tons. Okay, so if we will see here, so usually you won't talk about developing nations and developing and third world countries, means like Africa, India, Pakistan, China, and all these countries. Like we are not controlling pollution, we are not controlling our carbon dioxide production. But the thing is, it will be interesting for you to know, like United Nation is one of the not United Nation. United States of America is the country itself contributing a huge amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere itself. Though the population is extremely less as compared to India, India has crossed 1.4 billion, but still the population is extremely high as compared to United States of America, and still the United States is not able to control their populations carbon footprint. So here if you will see the color difference between India and African countries, okay, as compared to China and United States, so there is a huge, India falls under the category of 2 to 5 billion. Okay, and other countries like China and America, if we'll see, even this even the Russia is also producing less carbon dioxide than China and USA. So they fall in the categories of 10 to 20 billion tons of carbon dioxide production every year. So now if we'll see the figure on your right hand side, India accounts only 5% of global warming with 18% of world's population. So now the world global warming means if we are increasing the production of carbon dioxide, the temperature will increase. Okay, so now how the carbon dioxide is linked with temperature increase? See, the gases like carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, chlorofluorocarbon, they have the ability to trap heat. So whenever this heat is coming inside our atmospheric layer, if these gases are in high number, they will capture that heat and they will sustain there for long. Sorry. So that's why the climate changes means the temperature increases suddenly. Okay, but this activity takes lot of time, so the temperature is increasing gradually, like in 1 or 2 or 3 decades it will take to increase 1 degree of temperature. But even the 1 degree can cause a very horrifying effect. For example, if we talk about this year, the snowfall was very scarce. Okay, it was very rare and scarcity of snowfall happen, so it can affect glaciers. Glaciers are responsible for making rivers. So river water, that is the fresh water, will get affected, and then there will be the scarcity of water for drinking and other purposes. So that is how the global warming is related to the carbon footprints here. So if you will see the contribution to the global warming, I'll zoom in for your better view. So the image on your right hand side, I am telling the contribution to global warming. If you will see, India is in dark blue, that is the only 5%, and the China is yellow, that is at around 12%, US is 17%, and rest of the world they are not counting here. So this is the population. So the if you will compare the population as on 2021, India is again a huge. It's around 18% equivalent to China. So see the difference. We are in the population wise very high now with the number one, but still we are controlling our carbon footprint, that is the production of carbon dioxide here. And also I would like to mention here, not only carbon dioxide, but there are other greenhouse gases, if you can see on my screen, that is the methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbon. They also play a prominent role to change the temperature or to works towards the global warming. So now this is the another data which I got. This is a country by country breakdown of global carbon emission for 2023. So here also, just see the pie chart here. Here also on your left right hand side, here also if you will compare, the China is the highest, that is the 31.8%. After China, it falls United States, that is the 14.4%, and India falls the third category, that is the 9.5%. That is extremely low as compared to the other countries, because if we talk about countries like Indonesia, Brazil, Japan, South Korea, there are comparatively very small countries as compared to India, but their production of carbon dioxide is very huge. And this was the data given by the Sigma Earth in 2023 itself. Okay. So now I told you about the sustainable development. It's four pillars, and apart from that, we had a discussion about the carbon footprint. Now, the how sustainable development goals and carbon footprints are related. I told you there are 17 goals altogether given by United Nations, okay, so that every country can work towards it. But there are specifically five goals which are directly related to the sustainable development and carbon footprint. So the very first goal is goal number 7, that is the affordable and clean energy. Next is the industry innovation and infrastructure, goal number 9. Next is goal number 11, which is sustainable cities and communities. Next falls the sustainable development goal 12, responsible consumption and production. And the lastly is goal number 13, that is the climate change. So now I will tell you how these goals are playing a very prominent role in carbon footprint and sustainable development. Sorry. So first, if we talk about the sustainable development goal number 7, that is the affordable and clean energy. So this comprises of clean energy. Okay, clean energy means where there is a no production of smoke. Okay, no production of smoke. For example, if we are using hydropower plants, solar power plants, okay, so these are clean energy, okay, and affordable means they will be cheap as compared to the thermal power plants. Okay, so if we are not using coal for the production of energy, okay, or the production of electricity, then we are working towards sustainable development. Why? We are preserving that thing for our future generation, and also we are reducing pollution. So that is the very important sustainable development goal here. Now the next is the industry innovation and infrastructure. This is also playing a very important role in sustainable development. For example, if we talk about third world and second world countries, okay, or we can just make it easy. Let's talk about developing nations, okay, like India, okay. So there are things like India will be a developed nation, okay. So to become a developed nation, it needs a lot of infrastructure, lot of industries, and lot of innovation. Why? Because you need to give job to people, okay? You need to create an environment which is sustainable for future generation, okay? So that you need to have the new technologies, new innovation, which can work on, like, which can work without making much pollution. For example, let's talk about Delhi Metro. Okay, so it's a beautiful infrastructure, it's a beautiful innovation. Okay, we cannot say innovation, but yes, let's talk about innovation. It's a beautiful innovation and it's spread out everywhere. It's very easy to reach out and people can travel easily in all kind of weather. So it's a type of infrastructure. Okay, huge number of labor were involved in construction. Okay, huge companies were involved, huge industries were involved to develop a Delhi metro station or metro railway lines. So this is a industry innovation and infrastructure. You are making a country well innovative, well infrastructured, and lots of industry where people can work with a pollution free environment. So that is a sustainable development goal, to eradicate poverty. That is their main logic here. So now it comes under the next sustainable development goal, that is the goal number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Now, like it's a very live example, I would like to say, like my company got associated with Municipal Corporation Gurgaon. Okay, so now they have given us the responsibility to take care of entire electronic waste in the Gurgaon area. Okay, so we have to go and talk to all the RWAs, all the schools, colleges, universities here, and we need to tell them about how to manage their electronic waste. They don't have to sell to gabadiwalas, they don't have to, like, they don't have to throw it here and there. Okay, so it is a type of initiative which we are taking towards making Gurgaon a sustainable city where will be a less pollution, at least on the part of electronic waste management. And we are making communities aware about how to manage electronic waste properly, the disposal of e-waste. Okay, so this is also known as the sustainable cities and communities. Next point, if we talk about here, we can also put the point, if every industry or companies, those who are working or are residing in any country, start using solar panels. Okay, start using solar panel, and they will reduce the consumption of electricity which is coming from the power grid. So that is also make the city sustainable. The next point, like you stop using your private commute and start using the government or the public commute, okay, for traveling to and fro. That also reduces traffic on road and less consumption of fossil fuel. So that is also a part of the sustainable cities and communities. The next is the responsible consumption and production. The same thing will come here. Like if you are traveling, you have to take care. For example, you can go for the pooling options, you can go for the public transportations, okay, you can have an option for work from home, you can do work from home. It's like a responsible consumption. For example, if you're not watching a television but still it's on, okay, you can just switch it off. If you don't need electricity, means you don't need light, okay, during day, you have a big windows, just just remove the curtains, let the sunlight and fresh air come inside, and you are good to go. Okay, this is how you are individually reducing consumption. Okay, and also if we talk about the companies can also do the same thing by using the solar panel and making their employees aware to not to leave lights and bulbs and all these things, your laptops, like electricity is working but you are not working. So this is how the people and the companies have the responsible consumption and production here. Lastly is the very important that the climate action, because all above four sustainable development goals can affect the climate itself. If we are using more electricity, we are producing more pollution. If we are using more vehicles for traveling, we are consuming more fossil fuels. If the industry, innovation, and infrastructure are not appropriate, then also we are responsible for creating pollution and poverty, and everything will be affecting our environment, and environment is related to the climate action. So this is how this is how the climate action this is how the climate action is affected by all these four sustainable development goals here. So now the very important part, I told you about the sustainability. We talked about carbon footprint. We even talk about the pillars and like which all sustainable development goals are affecting the climate here. So now let's talk about carbon credit. Okay, this is a very new upcoming word. Although in European countries and Western countries, this thing has been established, but in India, still people are working about it. People in the sense means government bodies are still talking about it, how to implement in the Indian market. So carbon credit, I would like to read here few points for your information. See, carbon credit means it's a like a credit. Okay, credit means like we have a credit card, right? So what we do, if we don't have money, we can use our credit card and we can make the payments done, and once we get our salary, we can again make the credit card payment clear. Okay, so credit means you can take it in advance and you can use it, and then again you have to repay it back. It's a type of a credit means this. So one carbon credit here is equal to 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is the value. One carbon credit means 1 ton of 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide. So these can be brought and sold through international brokers, online retailers, and trading platform. So as I told you, still in India, it's an upcoming concept, but in foreign markets, it has already been established. So what people do here, I will tell you more examples, but just for your information, carbon credit means like, for example, if I have a company, okay, and I am producing 200 metric ton of carbon dioxide every year, okay, another person is having a company who is producing 400 metric ton of carbon dioxide. For example, now I got the carbon credit from a government of India. I can produce 300, metric ton of carbon dioxide every year. But that person who is already generating 400 tons of 400 ton of carbon dioxide, the government gave permission only to produce 300.
ತನಿಷ್ ತನಿಷ್ ಓಕೆ ಅಂದ ಕಳಿಸಿಲ್ಲ
Okay, can you please mute yourself?
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ
Okay. So, like the other company is producing 400, but the government gave permission to produce only 300 tons. So now my company was only producing 200 tons, but I got the 300 credits. That company is producing 400 tons, but got 300 credits. So I have 100 credits as a spare. Okay, so which I can sell to that company. Okay, because I purchased that credit from government, those that is my property now. I can do anything with that property. So I will give that credit to other company, and then they can give me money or whatever I traded on the behalf of. And now that company can produce 400 tons of carbon dioxide every year. So this is how credit system works. Okay. So now before we get into the deep of carbon credit, let's talk about what is carbon credit. Okay. So for example, the carbon credit means, I told you, it's a like how much carbon dioxide you are producing. Okay. So in a very first slide, I told you carbon footprint. Okay. Carbon footprint means how much carbon dioxide we individuals are producing. Now, what the governments and the big companies are doing, they will calculate, and now they will tell, okay, this individual is producing 9 tons of carbon dioxide every year. So his or her carbon credit is 9 every year, individual. Okay, it's an individual. Now we talk about the carbon credit concept is for corporates and huge organizations. Okay, we cannot just go for individual basis. We can go, but usually it stick to the corporate and big firms and organization levels. So here if we talk about carbon credits, it consists of three scope. Okay, so nowadays these scopes are also into lot of discussion. Scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, and still people are working how to calculate carbon credits. Okay, so the scope 1 is the direct emission. You can see the image which I am discussing on your right hand side. The carbon credits calculation of carbon credit comprises of three scopes: scope 1, 2, and 3. I'll just increase the size so that you can have a good look. So if we talk about scope 1 here, okay, scope 1 comprises of direct emission. Direct emission that are owned or controlled by a company. Now just keep in mind we are discussing about a company here, not an individual here, okay? So now, like for example, you are an employee of a company, okay? So there are 100 employees, okay? So how the company will calculate direct emission? Your commute, how you are traveling to the company. Okay, so that is the direct emission which the company can control. How the company can control? If 100 people coming from their own commute or conveyance, the company can get a bus, and now the bus will drop everyone to their home. So they have reduced 99 cars. Okay, so now only one bus is left. So that is the direct emission which can be controlled by the company. Now it comes the scope 2 here. Scope 2 is indirect emission. Okay. So now in the scope 2 and scope 3, it's like a still a very confusing, but there are little bit of clarity which we can discuss today. So the scope 2 is indirect emission. Indirect emission that are the consequence of company's activity but occur from a sources not owned or controlled by it. So now, for example, electricity. Okay, that's the basic need. If we are working in any company, we need electricity. Okay, because we have mobile phones, we have laptops. Okay, we have air conditioners or heaters. They have to work. Without electricity, you cannot work. So that is the indirect. Sorry, you cannot control it. Okay, for example, like if you are working in a tower, okay, tower means like corporate towers where there are thousands of companies, okay, so you just cannot say no, 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 I don't want electricity, like I only want electricity from 10 to 1, rest day I don't want to use electricity. No, you cannot do. So it will be a internalized everything. So it's not in our hand, but we are using it, okay, so it's a indirect emission. But we have a way to calculate how much electricity we are using. Like for example, how many CFLs we are having in that room, how many laptops are working, how many electronic equipments are connected to to the switches. Like that, we can calculate that indirect emission. Now, the scope 3 comes the indirect emission. That is the indirect, and indirect means that is the third party things you are doing. For example, if it's a manufacturing companies, okay, they want a raw material, so they have to get the raw material from other places. So that is the how much amount, how many trucks are containing their raw material, it's coming to the company, okay. So now from where that raw material has reached to that company, okay, that is also has to be calculated. Now the when the product has been like designed and manufactured, now the product has to go to the all retailers, okay, that has to be calculated. And from retailers that product is going where, that has to be calculated. So it's a indirect to indirect emission. That is the scope 3. And this is the very confusing state because still there is no clarity on scope 3 calculation, but still there are few softwares which are working and trying to calculate the scope 3 especially. So now this was little bit about carbon credits here, okay. So now my next slides move to the more detailed version of scope 1 and scope 3, but I think I have told enough, so we will not discuss much now here. Okay, so now let's talk about carbon credits and offsets created, okay. So I told you the carbon footprint means the amount of carbon dioxide we produced, and if you are calculating the amount of carbon dioxide produced, you can generate your carbon credits, okay. Carbon credit, it's like you are getting the credits from the government to only emit that much amount of carbon dioxide, okay. In coming next 10 years or 5 years, the government will be giving credits to every company where you have to restrict your production of carbon dioxide, okay. So it will be mandatory for every company. Like we have ESG, okay, we have EHS department, we have ESG department. Now there will be a department known as the carbon credit check department where they have to check how much carbon dioxide they are producing, and reports will be going to the government itself. So now there are two concepts now. How the carbon credits and offsets created. Now the offset means, see, sometimes what happen, you cannot control the production of carbon dioxide, okay. For example, like if there is a company, okay, it's a huge manufacturing plant, okay, and their product is in huge demand also. So the supply has to be continuously. Okay, so they cannot reduce the supply, or they cannot just lay off people like just like that. Okay, no, they cannot do all these things. So they have their CSR activity. CSR activity means the carbon offset projects. Okay, so the project is regarding like how to reduce the production of carbon dioxide. So what they do, they have lots of projects, like they start using renewable energy, okay. Instead of thermal, they will start using solar power plant or wind power plant or hydropower plant. If not that, they can have the plants which can capture methane gas, okay. Or they can have the like grow plants, okay. Reforestation can be done, okay. So like there are lots of NGO in India itself where they are doing reforestation on companies behalf, company is telling them, please grow like 1,000 trees from our side, make a forest on this land. They will purchase land, they will give it to NGOs, and then they are doing the process of their reforestation. So this is how you can reduce carbon dioxide. Okay, you cannot control your activities, but yes, you are doing offset projects where those projects will directly influence the reduction of carbon dioxide. So this is known as the carbon offset projects. Okay, so here is a like there are few points here which I would like to read for you. So it's a worth noting that a ton of carbon dioxide does refer to the literal measurement of weight, just how the CO2 is in a ton. The average American generates 16 ton of carbon dioxide every year through driving, shopping, using electricity and gas at home, and generally going through the motions of everyday life. Okay, so it's not about American, even all individual generates in between 10 to 12 tons of carbon dioxide every day. We are calculating on the basis of adult activities, okay, not the children activities here. To further put the emission in the perspective, you will generate 1 ton of carbon dioxide by driving your average 22 mpg car if you drive approximately 4400 kilometers. Okay, so this is the like approximately value they are giving you, like how much ton of carbon dioxide you will produce, and if you will travel this much kilometers, and 1 ton is equal to 1000 kgs here. Okay, so now let's talk about how the emission trading system works. I told you carbon credit means you can purchase it, you can sell it. Okay, so it's type of a taking a credits from market. Okay, like for example, we take loan. Okay, like we have to purchase a car, we have to purchase a house. We take a house loan, car loan, but we have to repay that loan. Okay, the moment they can give you credits, but it's not a free of cost. Okay, you just go and take it, now you don't have to repay it. No, you have to repay it. The same thing work in a carbon trading system. Okay, carbon trading system or carbon credit system. So carbon market is also a huge market, as I showed you few images back here. So that is also a huge market. There is one word which is known as the cap and trade. Okay, here you can see, I'll just mark it. Cap and trade system. This is the cap and trade. Okay, this is the very important work in this carbon market where you can cap it and you can trade it. Okay, this cap have two meanings. Okay, so cap means like you can, first of all, you are purchasing it from someone and you are using it, or you got that credit from the market or the government but you are unable to use it, you have the extra credit and you can trade it for the some other things. Okay, so that is known as the cap and trade things. Okay, so this falls under the regulated market, and this is actually
Yes, disturbance.
like,
Can you somebody mute, please?
can you mute please?
Mr. Bhaskar.
Okay, thank you. So the cap and trade means you can take it and you can trade it. That is the meaning of cap and trade, and usually it is regulated by the government, central or the state governments. So here, if you will see a image on like image of two companies here, emitter A and emitter B. Okay, so they both are producing the greenhouse gases. Okay, don't get confused. Greenhouse gases are the carbon dioxide, methane, and all these things which are helping in like which are like not helping, which are like creating the global warming. So here you will see here, so these both are real greenhouse gas emission. Okay, so emitter A is going above the axis line. Okay, so axis greenhouse emission, and emitter B has been reduced their emission. Okay, it can be a lots of activity from where you can reduce your carbon dioxide emission. So now this emitter B was having this much amount of carbon dioxide credits with them, which they can sell to the carbon market back, and then this company can purchase it from the carbon market. Okay, so this is a cap and trade. I was having extra, I sold it, and some other will purchase it. So this is how this carbon trading system works. Okay, so if like the example I already told you, the same example I have given here. Let's say two companies, company 1 and 2, are only allowed to emit 300 ton of carbon dioxide. However, the company 1 is on track to emit 400 ton, while the company 2 will only be emitting 200 ton. To avoid a penalty comprised of fines and extra taxes, company 1 can make up for emitting 100 extra tons of CO2 by purchasing credits from company 2, who has extra emission room to spare due to producing 100 ton less carbon this year than they were allowed to. Okay, so now the first market was regulated market, which I told you, cap and trade system. Okay, that is regulated by the government and state levels. The next come is the voluntary market. Voluntary market we just discussed. It's a offset carbon emission, means offset products. Okay, products, or sorry, projects. For example, I told you, like growing forest, using renewable energies. Okay, capturing methane gases. Okay, so these all are the voluntary market where the company themselves are taking initiative as a part of their CSR activities or other activities here. So now if we move to the next slide here, the carbon footprint calculator. So now the everyone is talking about carbon credits, carbon footprint, okay? But the thing is how to calculate this thing, okay? Because this is very important here. So I'll show you one screen. Okay, so this is one site. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, visible.
Okay.
Yes, it is visible.
Thank you so much. So hey, this is one site where they have given you a brief overview of calculating your carbon footprint. Okay, so here if you will see, they have given few things like welcome, house, flight, car, motorbike, bus and rail, secondary and results. Okay, so this is a site where, see, they will not give you the very accurate, but yes, they will give you an idea how to calculate it. For example, like we stay in a country India, they have all 195 nations here. Okay, so we stay country here, and there you they can talk about from and to, means from when to when we need the data. Okay, so now we will just put the house. Now in the house itself, we'll see like what all things we are using it: electricity, natural gas, heating oil, coal, LPG, propane, wood, what all things we are using it. We will just put it here, and then we'll go for the our flights. Flights can be, so see, like in India market, we have to include train and bus travel as well. Okay, they have included the bus and rail travel as well. Okay, because flights are not very prominent these days in India still, but people are considering it. So here you can add number of trips here, like how many trips you are going, from where to where you are going. Okay, economy class, business class, all classes will be given here, and then you are good to go to calculate the part 2 here. The next comes your own personal commute. Okay, so choose the vehicle. So it's an Indian car database. Okay, so we have to use the Indian car database here, and now we can select the company here, which company car we are using, what model we are using. Okay, which year model we are using. Like for example, in Delhi, like before 2020, diesel and petrol cars were banned. Something was going on like this few days back, but now everything is fine because of the pollution. We can choose it's a petrol, diesel, LPG, or CNG. Okay, so now let's follow the category of motorbike here. So motorbike also the same thing they have given the CC, your engine CC, like large motorbike, medium and small. Bus and rail will be the same. The bus, coach, national rail, international rail, tram, subway, taxi is also mentioned in this. Now comes the secondary. In secondary, there are lot of thing. Okay, still there are lot of thing has to be covered in this part. For example, the very thing is first point is food and drink products. So now a heavy meat eater, medium meat eater, vegetarian, fish eater, or vegan. Okay, you know, our diet also plays a very crucial role in the production of carbon dioxide. Okay, so that's why these days most people are converting themselves to a being a vegan, okay, or being a vegetarian, because it plays a very drastic effects on the environment if we are consuming meat in very high amount. So like there are lots of thing in secondary. Okay, the secondary means I told you it can be a scope 3, indirect to indirect. Okay, for example, pharmaceuticals, okay, clothes, computers, television, furnitures, hotels and restaurants, telephones. So it's a indirect to indirect thing. You have to put everything and per year data, and then you can calculate your carbon footprint like this. So this is the basic individual level carbon footprint where you can calculate it. Okay. So now let's go back to the slides here. Okay. So now here, as we discussed in the last slide, we have the two types of market, compliance and regulated, and the voluntary. So compliance and regulated will be falling under the cap and trade, and voluntary are the offset projects here. So now this is the like few of the last slides, then we will wind up. How does the carbon affect climate change? Okay, so this is the very interesting thing here. So that if we talk about the second paragraph here, the atmospheric carbon dioxide level has risen more than 40% since 18th century. Okay, so climatologists estimated that current level are as high as they have seen in some 14 million years. Okay, it's just an assumption, but still the theories are true somewhere. So now we see, like we usually say, what will happen if climate is changing? Doesn't matter. Okay, no, it does matter. How does it matter? It can affect sea level. Okay, more frequent and intense storms will be there. Okay, extension of species will be there. Okay, food scarcity will be there, greater economic inequality will be there. Okay, so there will be a huge effect of climate. For example, if people are rich, they can purchase water, but if a poor person, they have to drink the normal tap water because they cannot go and just purchase Bisleri or Kenley from market. No, it's unaffordable for them. Okay, so this is the inequality can be done if a climate is changing. Climate doesn't mean only temperature increase. Climate also defines like we have the less rain or we have less snowfall, so the glaciers are melting, temperature is increasing, no fresh water for drinking. Okay, soils are getting affected. If there is less soil, the farmers will get affected because there will be no more crops. Okay, so if the food will be not there, so every middle person or the low grade person, they will suffer because of the climate change. So now by the numbers, okay, a lot of hot air. So now this is the very interesting fact here. Around the world, the average person generates 4.8 metric ton of carbon dioxide emission each year. So in the United States, it's more than the three times that the number is 16.2. In Canada, it's 15.6. In Russia, is 11.7. In Germany, it's 9.73. Japan, it's 9.45. China is 6.98. UK is 5.8. France is 5.8. Brazil is 2.2. And India is 1.87. So the they are saying individual level production of carbon dioxide. So here also India comes to the least. We can say because lack of infrastructure and amenities can be the one of the reason why we are not producing that much carbon dioxide, but it's a good thing for our country because we are the population of 1.4 billion. If every person will start producing around 20 metric ton of carbon dioxide, then it will be a huge difficulty for our Indian government to control the production. So now there will be a few facts about carbon footprint, which are like if we stop using fossil fuel, we will end global warming. So if we think about era where we were affected with the COVID-19 in 2020 and 2021, there were like reports the carbon like this ozone layer where they were depleting, now it has been repaired. Okay, ozone layer is a layer around the atmosphere which reduce the entering the UV radiations from sun. Okay, so there were the reports, the carbon dioxide level were decreased, pollution level was decreased. Okay, because we are not consuming fossil fuel. Part 1, that is the transportation, vehicles, transportations were not there. Still, the electricity were still there. Next is recycling is the best thing you can do to reduce your carbon footprint. Now, it's a very interesting fact. Recycling. Okay. So we know this word recycling, but still, I can assure you most of them don't know what these recycling are. Okay. Where to do this recycling. I'm very much sure still the people among us also like selling your electronic waste to kabadi wala. For example, your microwave, refrigerator, washing machine. If they're not working, we'll give to kabadi wala. Why? Because 100 रुपए देगा ना, कम से कम 100 रुपए 200 रुपए तो देगा ही देगा, कुछ तो मिलेगा, right? This mentality we have. Okay, but we don't know what is the future of that electronic items which we have given to them. Okay, same with the plastic also. We don't know what that kabadi wala will do with that plastic. He might be throw here and there, and now it will be going in the landfills. Okay, so responsible citizen definition comes here in the sustainability. If we are doing it, we are like we can at least be like carefree. Okay, we have done our part, we are working as a responsible citizen. So recycling is very important here. Leaving your TV on standby wastes vast amount of energy. Okay, if you're not using it, switch it off. Buying local food is better than buying imported products. This is again a fashion statement nowadays. We want to eat avocado, okay, but we will not eat apples. Why? Because avocado is like it's being imported from Western countries, but apple is going in Kashmir. Why to eat that? Okay, it's a local thing. No, but this is also playing a very important part. Like they are importing it from other country, okay, and then the those are like luxury item which we are consuming it, paying a huge amount of money. Okay, so that is also a very important playing a very important part in the carbon footprint, especially the individual carbon footprint here. Like what sort of food we are eating. Now, the why recycling is beneficial. I told you, like most of us are not aware, like why to recycle and where to recycle. Okay, so just to be very precise, you can get the authorized recycler for every field online. You just have to check and spend 5 minutes on that. So, what recyclers do, like for example, I am a working as a recycler here, so I know how to recycle electronic waste from top to bottom. Okay, so I go and do the awareness for lots of schools and colleges just to tell them don't throw your waste here and there, or don't give your waste to kabadi wala. Okay, because that is going under the informal, unauthorized sector, which is again a very harmful and creating lots of pollution and problem. So recyclers are there, we'll go, we'll collect. Okay, now what we do, we will just dismantle it. Okay, we will turn into a small granules, and then we will be putting back into the supply chain. For example, let's talk about plastic. Okay, every device has a plastic. Okay, I got 1 ton of electronic items. 1 ton means 1000 kgs of electronic items. I will dismantle it. Dismantle means I will separate every part of every electronic items. And then I have like I have 200 kgs of plastic with me now. So what I will do, I will crush that plastic into small granules and I will send to the plastic dealers. Plastic dealer means companies, those who are making products of plastic. Okay, we have lots of plastic things. Okay, plastic racks we have, plastic covers we have, lots of plastic things we use. So what that company will do, that company will refine it, purify it, and use it for their purpose. They don't need 100% raw material. Maybe our plastic will help them 10%. Now they only need 90% fresh raw material, and 10% they can refine our product and make the new product. So this is how recyclers work, and this is how we reduce carbon footprint, because we are working towards the circular model. Okay, so that is how now in the near future, if the company has to get the extra credits, they have to contact the recyclers, definitely. Now there are few points where here you can see design, remanufacture, distribute, consume, collect. Okay, everything is part of the circular model, because under the design and remanufacture, the manufacturers and producers have got these strict norms from the government, like you should not use material which are harmful or which cannot be recycled. So you have to rethink about your designs and you have to recreate it. Okay, so now the same with the distributors. Okay, so they have to be very careful where all the items are going. Okay, and the collectors also have to be very careful, but the collectors are the recyclers usually. So we have to prepare all the reports when we are collecting the everything. So this reduces the extraction process, means the mining process, and the disposal means the landfill process. Okay, so this is how the recyclers are beneficial here. So now the thing is, the recycle benefits the economy as well by creating jobs, stimulating investment, supporting domestic manufacture. Apart from that, they help in saving energy, reducing pollution, reducing greenhouse gas emission, preserving natural resources, and landfill space. Thank you so much. If you have any doubts, please feel free to discuss.
Ma'am, I have a question. Can I
Yes,
go?
please tell. Yeah, please tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, you mentioned about emitter 1, emitter 2, the carbon credit from emitter 2 to emitter 1. And you also told the example of a loan repayment. In this case, the emitter 1 gets a credit, but how you are relating it to a loan repayment? Does the
No, no, no,
emitter
no, no.
1?
I was not, I was just telling about the word credit here.
Yes.
Credit. Credit means you are taking credit from somewhere and then you have to repay it, right? So it's like the thing is carbon credit. It's like if we have, for example, I told you the example of companies, right? One company is generating 200, another company is generating 400. Okay,
Correct.
though this 200 company has a spare 100 credits with them.
Yes.
Okay, so they can trade that credit to other company, they can give it to them. Okay, though it is
Okay.
not a loan system, but they are giving to other company and they can ask money on the behalf of those credits.
Okay, it's a one way where you can purchase those credits and
Yes,
satisfy that
yes.
you are
Yes.
producing so much, you have credit so much, and that's how they satisfy the government. Correct?
Yeah, like it's like you have purchased certain amount of credit, but you have not utilized all.
Yes.
Okay, you have spare. Okay,
Yes.
so other company needs extra credit because they are utilizing at a very high amount, so they can take it from you.
That's all. They need not repay these credits on a future date.
No, no, no,
I
no, no.
was
They are
little
giving
bit
you
confused on
other
that.
things, like they're giving you money. For example, I told you I will
Yeah.
I will take one credit in 5,000 rupees. Okay,
Yes.
so they'll give you money in that thing. Okay, it's like they are trading it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. One more doubt, ma'am.
Mhm.
The recent regulations in Europe about the CBAM,
Mhm.
they're already ahead in this carbon credits. They're trying to
Yes,
introduce some cross-border adjustment mechanism
yes, yes.
and other
Import
things.
export things.
Yeah, they're trying to put some duties on
Yes.
countries which are exporting to them.
Mm-hmm.
How what is the mechanism? Will it affect trade from India? Or what is your view on that?
See, I don't know about the other things, but if we'll talk about my field, it is electronic waste. In electronic waste, already we are importing a lot of raw material from outside.
Yes.
Okay, so we are depending on lots of other nations for the raw material. So now the CPCB has taken the initiative, like they are not, I will not use the word banning, but they are not supporting the export of any electronic waste outside India, because they want to develop the technology and infrastructure within a country so that the raw materials stay within. Okay, so for example, if we are exporting everything out of India, right? So now for making a fresh material, we need a raw material, and most of the raw material is coming from outside. Okay, now if we talk about the Western countries or America or whatever the countries, there they have a proper infrastructure. Okay, but still there are things which they have to import it from outside. Okay, everything is not present everywhere. So yes, but they will put the lot of regulation and duties there so that it can be reduced up to certain level. Or for example, I told you, if we are consuming export items, then the prices will increase so that the people eventually will stop consuming and using it. Okay, so this is how the other small initiative where they are want to reduce their own carbon dioxide productions.
You showed a map, ma'am, where United States was a heavy consumer, creator of
Yes,
carbon
yes,
credit, China. It is those
yes.
countries who have to reduce, no, actually.
Yeah, but the irony is they are not talking about themselves. They are talking about developing nations.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
a
that is the
little
irony,
bit
because
confusing.
they
Yes.
think they're the superpower. Okay, so whatever they are doing is perfect. But what the developing and third world countries are doing, they have to think about that. So, but yeah, let's see what will happen.
Is there any regulation or any pressure on them by means of the all the countries that they have to comply with some regulations?
See, as I told you, United Nations headquarters is in New York. Okay, so they have lots of discussions and talks every month. Okay, if you will follow their page every month, they have lots of discussion, and yes, they will give you a picture like, yes, we are doing it, yes, we are taking initiative. But being a democratic country, they cannot control their individuals, because the people are there. It's my right. Okay, why should I think about others? Okay, so the thinking, that mentality of an individual will take little bit of time, but yes, definitely they are working towards it to reduce the production of individual carbon footprint at least.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone wants to ask?
Ma'am,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I have a suggestion over here regarding the recycle of electrical
Mm-hmm.
and electronic goods. My
Mm-hmm.
suggestion is that if the electrical and electronic goods manufacturers, they should buy back or return back their used products.
Mm-hmm.
So if this system can be able to continue, so I think so this sort of problems, that is wastage which is generating the CO2 in the society, that can be reduced.
Sir, actually, there is one regulation, and that is very important. Okay, that is known as Extended Producer's Responsibility, EPR. Okay, and that means if a producer or manufacturer is producing it, putting in market, it's their responsibility to take it from market. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes, sir.
yeah, so the thing is still every
That is not
government.
maintained properly.
Yes, yes. The thing is, government has taken very strict action, but still it will take little bit of more time to implement more strictly. Okay, because they are most of the manufacturers are working towards their carbon footprint, because they want reports. Auditors will ask the reports, and also their extended producer's responsibility, which is taken care by the recyclers. See what we do, sir. Like for example, if you have electronic waste, okay. See, people doesn't know this. Even recyclers pay money if they are purchasing things from you which you're not using it. Even we pay money to you. It's not like we'll come and we'll take free of cost. No, like
Not
we have,
not
yeah,
only that, you just see that most of the cases we are using the LED bulbs. And
yes,
yes, all these are how so that is very poor for the society.
exactly.
So that are continuously that are as a wastage
Mm-hmm.
that is loitering here and there, and this we compulsorily doing that buyback or return back by the manufacturer.
Yes, yes, government is taking initiatives, sir. Like next 2, 3 years, you will be seeing a drastic change in this. Definitely, they have to take it back because they won't be left with any options.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Ma'am, actually, my question was how this cap and trade thing will actually reduce the carbon footprint.
Okay, it's a nice question. Okay. So the thing is, cap and trade, it's like government will regulate production of carbon dioxide. Okay. So they will see what is the level of company, how much production and manufacturing is happening. Not only production and manufacturing, if it's uh, like other companies like recycling or anything we can take, they will just see how many employees and what is the activity the company is doing. On the basis of that, they will give you the permission only to produce this much carbon dioxide. So it's not about reducing it, it's about regulating the production of carbon dioxide so that they can have a check on every company. Okay, this company is producing this much, this company is producing this much, so that the government can take the initiative where to reduce now. So it's a type of a regulation of the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
another question is that have you calculated that how so far the CO2 is extra increasing by Russian war?
Extra increasing by, sir, what?
Russian war.
Okay, okay.
Have you got my point?
No, actually.
They are saying like a Russian war.
Okay. See, I told you, see, the thing is, calculation is in process. Okay, right now I show you one software. So there are several softwares, and even there are the calculations. If you are very good in mathematics, you can do your own calculation because government has given the basic of everything. Like for example, if we talk about electricity, okay, so electricity in an apartments come via two ways. Okay, it can be your DG means your diesel generator, or it can be the power grid. Okay, so like this separate you have to calculate your carbon dioxide production. You have to add it, and then you are good to go, and you can check like how much production you are doing yearly. But still, I'm telling you, there are no solid software as of now because only they are talking it, they are now implementing it. It will take few time to establish it properly in market, and meanwhile India will be the next country after Europe and western country where this carbon credit market will be established very soon. Anyone else?
Now the regulations have come. The top 1,000 companies have to report their
Yes,
ESGs. So these are first steps, I would say. As you said, it will take some more time calculating carbon credit and actually the carbon credit market and all to evolve and start trading. It will take some more time. It is
yes,
now
yes.
estimation, phase, I would say. We are only at the estimation phase now.
Mhm.
Slowly, we'll have to go to the next phase and then.
Yes, because we are already companies are implementing this ESG and everything. Okay, so that is the very first step of implementing this carbon market. because like directly government cannot come and throw all the new norms with the companies, because it is very difficult. For instance, when this extended producers responsibility rule came in India, it came in 2016, the very first rule. Okay, this extended producer responsibility is for the manufacturers and producers. Okay, now it's 2024. Okay, so you see, within these 8 years, now the companies are following this norm little bit seriously. It took CPCB 8 years to make that implemented in all the manufacturers and producers. So these things take time. Overnight things doesn't change. Okay, we have done the problem. Okay, so now if we have to clear it, it will take definitely a huge time. Damage has been done. So slowly the market will implement, and eventually everyone will know what is credit, how to calculate it, what to do and what not to do with them.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, as you have explained between these two companies trading between the carbon credits, any such mechanism between these countries?
Countries,
Yeah.
no. As of now, no. It can be a future thing where the companies can trade between them. Okay. Yes, this will happen, but first of all, the country, them internally, they have to take care of their production. They have to control internally whatever the emission rate is. Then only it can be trade within countries as well. Definitely, it will be there. It will be there, but yes, it will take time.
Currently, in which countries, inter-countries, in which intra-country, I am asking, in which intra-country this mechanism is going on?
No, not as of now.
Okay.
Yeah, not as of now.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else? Yeah, welcome. Any questions? Okay, then I'll stop sharing my screen.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, Nikita.
Possible to share a PPT
Like,
presentation?
how, like, I cannot just send to everyone individually. Like,
Can
do
you
we have
share
any?
in the chat
Ma'am,
box,
you may
ma'am?
just send your PPT through the chat box,
Chat box
Okay,
you can
fine,
put.
fine.
or
Let
otherwise you
me.
can just send this PPT to the ICMI Social Audit Organization, and we will
Okay,
pass
fine.
it
I
on
will
to the.
share with Dr. S.K. Gupta.
Sure,
Sure.
absolutely.
And then he can, like, you can ask from them, like him, he can manage with you
Sure,
guys.
absolutely right.
Yeah, no problem. I'll
You
do
can
it today
also
itself.
share this PPT as of now in chat box,
Mhm.
so that participants can immediately download.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do
Sure.
it.
Thank you so much, dear.
No problem at all. Okay. Actually, I'm not very tech friendly, so it will take time for me to share.
Not
I'll
an
just
issue,
share
ma'am.
with Dr. S.K.
Sure,
Gupta. I think it
not
will
an
be
issue.
okay
So
for
all the
me. Yeah.
participants will get this PPT through the email.
Yeah.
So don't worry, you will get
Yeah.
this PPT. So
Sure,
if we are
sure.
having any further query or questions, so we can just ask, as madam is here. Otherwise, we can just conclude the session over here. So I think no further question, ma'am. So we can
Okay.
just stop this session over here, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so much,
everyone, for
ma'am.
your time. And thank you so much. Good day.
Thank you
Bye.
so much, ma'am. It was a very interactive session and very
Thank you so
knowledgeable
much.
for all the participants. So thank you so much for on behalf of ICMI Social Audit Organization. I thanks especially to our faculty guest, ma'am.
Thank you so
Rajita,
much.
madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good day. Yeah. Bye.
Good day, ma'am. And thanks to all participants for taking this session at ICMI SAO. We will share this PPT through the email among the participants. So don't worry, you will get this PPT.
Yes, today itself, I'll just share
Sure,
with
sure.
Dr. S.K. Gupta. Everyone will be getting the
Sure,
PPT.
madam.
Yeah.
So over
Okay.
here, we can just conclude this session. Once again,
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Bye. everyone.